Hey guys, welcome back. This is Library of Orthanc, LOTR TCG, back with another all-foil video for you today. So what we have today is a Fellowship block Decktech. Our most popular video on the channel so far, other than sealed openings of course, has been our Decktech that we did of the original World Championship deck from Fellowship block from the very first LOTR TCG World Championship. So based on the feedback we got on that from you guys, what we're going to do today is go over the runner-up deck from that same tournament. So this is the original World Championship runner-up deck. So today, just to get it right out for you guys, it's a Pipeweed deck. So I'll give you a little explanation, but also obviously show off the cards a little bit here, being that it's full foil and we want to kind of show you guys some of the bling that's in this deck. So first off here, obviously you see we have the One Ring Isildur's Bane, of course, being that we're playing Fellowship. And obviously this is a beautiful card. Let me just kind of show that for you guys. Anyone who hasn't seen just the foiling on this is definitely one of the probably top 5, top 10 most beautiful cards in the game. So that's our ring that we're using. And then we have Frodo, Reluctant Adventurer for our ring bearer. This deck does do a decent amount of choking, so the -1 on this Frodo does come in handy. -1 for each artifact possession or Hobbit tail played on Frodo. So there's our starting ring bearer. Then we do have another Fellowship staple for the starting Fellowship, and that is Legolas Greenleaf for his archery, of course. And then we have Sam, the son of Hamfast, so that we can bid high burdens and go first by removing them. So there's your starting Fellowship. Next, we have our key companion here that we're going to be playing this typically off of the Prancing Pony, and that is Aragorn, the heir to the White City. Another just beautiful and fantastic card. So this is the one that each time the Fellowship moves during the Fellowship phase, remove 1. So that's the first time you move each turn, or you get to remove, I'm saying remove 1. It's remove 2. So remove 2 each time the Fellowship moves. I believe they may have errated that down to move 1 is where that was in my head from, but obviously this is original Fellowship block. Just to be clear, this is not a PC deck. This is from the original World Championship, so there's no errata, and we're using the original cards. So Aragorn, heir to the White City, fantastic companion. Then we do have a full play set of Gandalf, friend of the Shirefolk. So this one is fantastic because we are playing kind of a Rainbow Fellowship with Hobbit, Elf, Man. I believe the day 1 version of this deck that was played actually did play Gimli also, so you could fully take advantage of that benefit. I should have said too, this deck was played by Alex Tennet, is the original pilot of this deck who took this to the world's runner-up. So obviously shout out to him for creating this and for making it that far back when it was a very highly competitive tournament scene. So then our final companion is Boromir, son of Denethor, just kind of a second Gondor man in there, but also helps pump your hobbits. So pretty light on companions, as you can see. But what's very heavy on is possessions. So we'll look at that next. Oh, and I should say there's one ally in here, Philibert Bolger, to cancel fierce skirmishes involving a hobbit. So that's the one ally we do play. Next then we have our possessions, and this first set of possessions will be our weapons. So we do have, we really go all out on equipping Aragorn in that we do have 2 Aragorn's bows for archery, kind of turns him into a bigger Greenleaf. Then 2 Ranger's swords. That, of course, just pumps Aragorn and makes him damage +1. 2 Flaming Brand, again just another 0 cost possession that further pumps Aragorn, and 2 Armor to help limit those wounds, particularly from Uruk-hai. For Gandalf, we do have 1 Glamdring, and for Frodo, we do have 2 Sting. So then the namesake of the deck, obviously the Pipeweed, is what we have next. So first off comes the Pipes, which is Aragorn's Pipe. So we run 2 of that. So if you haven't played Pipeweed before, it's good to be strategic about which pipe you smoke out of when you smoke one of the Pipeweeds. And this one does spot X pipes to heal X companions. So this is where if you want to evenly heal across your fellowship, you activate the smoking ability on Aragorn's pipe. Then the next one that we have 2 copies of is Frodo's pipe. So this is the one that's spot X pipes to heal a companion with the Frodo signet X times. So this is if you want to have intensive healing on a single companion rather than spreading it out over the whole fellowship. Again, you just pick that as the ability that you're activating when you discard the Pipeweed. And I didn't point it out as we were going through that, but most importantly, Legolas, Greenleaf, and Aragorn, Heir to the White City, both do have the Frodo signet, and those are your archery men. Boromir does as well, if that ever comes into play, but you're typically going to be doing that on Aragorn or Legolas. Then you have Gandalf's pipe to remove burdens. You're typically not going to be activating that ability, but it's going to be another pipe for you to be able to spot. And then the Pipeweed possessions. We do have a full play set of the Old Toby. Again, you just drop these down as soon as you get them, because when you drop them, you get to draw a card. So it only costs 1 Twilight, and you get to draw a card. So you put those down, and then when you're ready to use them, you discard them off of the ability on the pipes. So play this down. When you're ready to activate it, you say, okay, Fellowship, I'm activating this Aragorn's pipe. Discard the Old Toby and heal however many companions that I have pipes for. And I should say you can heal any companion. You just count the number of pipes, and that's how many companions you heal. And then on Frodo's, you count the number of pipes, and that's how many times you heal a single companion. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. So we got the 4 Old Tobys and the 1 Longbottom Leaf. So that is our Pipeweed. And then lastly, we have some utility cards for Gandalf here. We do have the Betrayal of Isengard. That's to help with Saruman, so that Gandalf can kind of be a archer, more or less, to take out Saruman. And Sleep Caradress, again, that just keeps the shadow conditions under control. Largely, if your opponent's playing, Moria or Sauron. Again, those weren't the popular decks, but can really help keep those in check. Then for our sight path here, we do have the Prancing Pony to play Aragorn. Trollshaw Forest, each time you play a possession, draw a card, which is crazy when you're playing those Pipeweeds, because you play the Pipeweed, draw a card off the Pipeweed, draw a card off the Trollshaw. So you can actually run into the rule of 4 there if you have too many Pipeweeds or too many other possessions, certainly. So that'll pretty much draw you 4 cards. Then Council Courtyard is more just removing 2, which in addition to Aragorn, Heir to the White City, is going to remove 4 total. So you can play like a Gandalf at site 3 and then just completely remove all the Twilight for that. This is just because, again, we're typically paired with Uruk-hai, just says Uruk-hai are not roaming. Bridge, you have to play. You notice we're not playing the Balrog. Or I shouldn't say you didn't see the shadow side for this. The shadow side for this is Uruk-hai, so we're not playing the Balrog. Caras Galadhon, that is, again, just to not be swarmed. Anduin Wilderland, skip the archery phase. Again, I'm sure that's minion related because we actually love the archery phase for for our companions. So I'm not sure if there's a better one to be playing for that, but that's for sure what he was playing. My guess is, again, that was to protect Uruk-hai. Anduin Banks, add 2 to the minion archery total for each companion over 4, so that's kind of a one that stops big fellowships. And then Slopes of Amon Hen, each Uruk-hai is -1. So you saw most of this stuff, you know, specifically 7, 8, 9, that's all in there for the minions, and even 4, 5. So really it's just these first 3 sites that are very oriented to the fellowship. And then 6 is also a fellowship protection site. So that's the deck, guys. What I'll do too here, because I got some feedback of some people that wanted to have a little more intensive strategy of how to play this. So if anyone just wanted a general walkthrough, that's what you just got here, and you can obviously stop the video and go do something else. But for the people who actually wanted to hear kind of a more intensive strategy of how would you play this, I'm going to kind of give that to you now. So in Fellowship block, in this meta in particular, if you look at the top 16 decks, 14 or 15 of them, I want to say 15 even, were all Uruk-hai. So this meta is basically 100% Uruk-hai, at least at the top tables. So that's what you're designed to beat is Uruk-hai, and so that's what I'm going to kind of talk through, is assuming that you're playing against an Uruk-hai deck. Like I said, we're assuming that we ourselves are playing Uruk-hai, but let's assume that we're playing against an Uruk-hai deck. So first off, like I said, what you're going to do is you're going to bid high because you've got Sam, son of Hamfast, to immediately remove the burdens. So you're going to be starting Sam and Legolas. Again, I'm not entirely familiar with how aggressive the bidding gets in the Fellowship meta, but I would think you could safely bid, 4 burdens even here, maybe even up to like 5 or 6, depending. Again, I don't know if that's even necessary, if that's just crazy, because Sam's going to immediately take 3 of them off. And again, if you're playing Uruk-hai, burdens don't really matter. And the biggest thing is if someone has an Nkea, you don't want to get up to 5 burdens. So kind of the way I conceptualize it is you want to stay at 4. And if you're worried about someone playing a Region Hills to get you up to 5, then maybe you're okay at 3. But, even at 3, if Sam's removing 3 and you're bidding 5, you're still in okay shape, which is crazy. That's why this Sam is so ridiculous, is it can just take away so many burdens. So let's say we're bidding, 3 or 4 with Sam to go first. And, of course, for our first site, we are choosing the Prancing Pony. And the reason there is you're going to add a burden to play Aragorn from your deck. And that's because, as you probably noticed, we're only playing 1 Aragorn. So because of all the support cards in this deck, we don't have room for 4 Aragorns here, so we're only playing 1. And we're literally playing this 1 Aragorn, but for that 1 Aragorn, let me count it over here what we've got. It's pretty crazy. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 possessions just for that 1 Aragorn. So we need him. So point being, you bid very aggressively to try to start the Prancing Pony. If all else fails and you bid aggressively and still your opponent wins the bid because they're playing, Green Dragon in for Sam, and you don't get to start this, then your backup plan is you just send both these guys back to the deck. You don't start these guys, and you start Aragorn, Heir to the White City, as your whole starting fellowship then. That's only if you lose and have to go second, and if your opponent does not start the Prancing Pony. So that's the strategy there with getting Aragorn out. But ideally, you've got Sam Legolas, you've got the Prancing Pony, you add your burden to play your Aragorn, you get Aragorn down, and then exert Sam all the way to exhaustion to remove those burdens. Should be down to 1 or 2 left on your Frodo then at that point. And of course, any possessions you get, you're going to want to throw them down on Aragorn, Rangers' swords, Aragorn's bows, those are, any of these are really no-brainers to drop down. So that's kind of what you're doing on the first site. And then you are, when you're moving during the fellowship phase, remove 2. So right away, you're removing 2. So even though you paid 4 for this Aragorn, 2 of it's coming right back off. And then you're moving into the Trollshaw Forest, which you're probably not going to get that benefit of the 4-card draw because you're almost certainly going to be double moving here. So that's what you're looking for to do on turn 1 is double move from Prancing Pony to Trollshaw to Council Courtyard. So you're going to be ending on the Council Courtyard. So like I said, you might get wounded up some, but you're going to be starting the next turn at a Sanctuary and removing your 5 wounds. And this is the one, like I said, it's really cool. You got your 4 guys down. You remove your wounds, and then you're ready to go to the next. Move on to the next site. At this point, hopefully, you're throwing a Gandalf down. And at this point, hopefully, too, between either at site 2 or at site 3, you did get rid of this Sam, because he's going to be a liability when you're playing Uruk-hai. You want to stay on 4 companions, and you don't want one of those 4 to be Sam. So he's in our dead pile at this point. And we're replacing him with Gandalf, Friend of the Shirefolk. So this Gandalf, if you look around at our fellowship, we have 3 different races here. And so he gets a 9 power base for himself. Like I said, he also enables us to play some of these key support cards that we're going to need to see. Lets us get another pipe into the mix for more healing. And so, like I said, Sleep Caradhras really silences most of the non-Uruk-hai strategies. And if they are Uruk-hai, this Betrayal of Isengard is very critical because it has this ability of exert Gandalf to wound Saruman twice. So not only does that turn Gandalf into like an archer for Saruman, it's like a super archer where you exert him twice and you just kill every Saruman that ever shows up. Because this is a condition, it just stays around. And anytime you see Saruman, you're wounding Gandalf twice to wound and just kick that Saruman off the table. And same thing with Uruk-hai, you're typically looking to just take them just straight off the table if they have low vitality with either a Legolas or an Aragorn. If you're fighting like a troop of Uruk-hai that has 4 vitality, you're probably better off just to let that go and skirmish it. But again, as you see here, we're keeping to 4 companions. Why we're doing that is so our opponent cannot play savagery to match their numbers. Or more specifically, if they play it, it's just a +2 pump. They're not getting the +5 in the fierce because that's where things get really ugly. And then again, we're definitely looking to get an armor on Aragorn. So if someone needs to skirmish Uruk-hai, it's ideally him because he only takes 1 wound with that armor. But he's also one of our key people to beat Uruk-hai, or at least Uruk-hai that don't have pumps. Aragorn natively will beat them with a 10. And if you do get, the Glomdring out on Gandalf, he'll natively beat Uruk-hai as well with an 11. So those are very nice, high-powered companions that you want to have do your fighting. So that's kind of the strategy there. And then on the other side of the strategy is Aragorn using his bow and Legolas using his ability that's printed on him to just use your archery ability to shoot down those Uruk-hai, and then use all your pipes to discard Pipeweed and heal these guys. These are the guys you're going to be looking to heal so that they can do archery all over again. I think I already explained kind of how the pipes work, so I'm not gonna go over that bit again. But basically, you're looking to take these 4 companions all the way with you then to Site 9. If you are playing any sort of against any sort of a swarm deck, well then you don't need to kill Sam, and then you've got your Boromir, which is very nice because he can pump hobbits. And if your opponent's trying to swarm both Frodo and Sam, it's going to be much more difficult. But again, I'm focusing on the fact that we're Uruk-hai. Also against Swarm, you've got Aragorn and Legolas to shoot small minions, so that shouldn't be a problem. So we're then typically going to be looking to again just march down the site path. Like I said, at this site, it's pretty cool because we play that Gandalf, let's say, and then when the Fellowship moves from Council Courtyard, you remove 2 off the Council Courtyard. You remove another 2 off of Aragorn, so that Gandalf was literally free. So this deck does choke very well as well. I don't think there's anything else too much on the site path to show you. Like I said, these latter sites are all just minion related, so I don't think there's any other specific strategies there that we really overlooked. Again, one other strategy is you've got these heavy vitality hobbits. Sam's probably off the table against Uruk-hai, but Frodo can skirmish Uruk-hai and can just exert twice to cancel a fierce skirmish. So if you are facing Uruk-hai in a fierce skirmish, that's where this Philibert Bolger can come in really handy, and then use a little bit of that vitality on Frodo to take the wounds on Frodo, because wounds on Frodo kind of don't mean much, as opposed to wounds on these guys. Definitely want to keep their vitality clean so that they can do their archery abilities. Well, I think that's about all of the deck tech. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that more in-depth analysis. Like I said, it looks like we did about the standard 10-minute just talk through and show off the foils. And then this time we did a 10-minute more in-depth analysis as well for people that enjoy that. So really appreciate all the love you guys are giving the channel. Really like to know that you enjoy this content. So keep giving me the feedback about what you like, and I keep having fun making these videos for you guys. So look forward to more.